Cupideros, Feminist Chronicles 3, the Feminist Chronicles series, How to Fly a Marshmallow Kite, Political Fiction Flash Stories, copyright Cupideros, Thursday, December 24th, 2015, 1,729 words. Description. Brianee Dinwiddle, former pushover for men and sex worker, is determined to keep her cool as she returns to college, studies for her women's studies degree, but finds that a Zeta female and an alpha male winners in the battle of feminism end up lonely. Just off a college campus on the street near the college bookstore. In the quiet college bookstore at the gender studies section of books, on a peaceful day after class, sexy slim Bree Dinwiddle perused How to Fly a Marshmallow Kite. Well aware a flyaway whips of her cornstarch blonde hair dangled below at her ears and almost touched her pink blouse. However, she refused to pretty herself over it. She felt confident. Men would just have to get used to women in yoga pants, sweatshirts, and messy hair. She wore pink yoga pants, blouse, and pink and white Nikes. She turned the page. In the same aisle, a mere half an inch sliver of space away in another bookshelf group at the gender studies section of books, started the men's section, where a handsome man searched one book already in his hand. He wore a yellow and red checkered shirt and tight Levi's. Bree noticed his furtive stares. He noticed hers, too. No mistaking their horrifying crimes remained between them. They were male and female, attracted immensely to one another, for the affection of one another, or its equivalent powerful need, sex. But feminist Bree's former sex worker had a rule: no picking up men or being picked up by men in a bookstore. Bookstores sanctified the mind. Men in bookstores mixed like white powdered chem lines in the sky falling into the water systems. Toxic. In her small, slender white hand, she adjusted an earlier book picked from another section, the Samurai Book of Five Rings. Turning it over and raising it to her snowy breast, it would fit snugly inside her melon-sized tits black bra after buying it. The mysterious hunk held a book also for purchase. Why women believe in fairy tales and how to use that against them. They synchronized. His book choice was crap, she admitted, but this was college, and students often were forced to buy and read things they'd otherwise pass up. But his male brain and her female brain exchanged pickup signals anyway. Bree slipped out the opposite side of the book aisle. She repaired her wisp of cornstarch blonde hair, smoothing it back with his sisters as she headed to the checkout. And in typical alpha male fashion, at the height of time before the next class started, the brown-haired man beat her to the checkout. Bree countered, refusing to get in line. She was a Zeta female. She made the last moves. She allowed herself to win. She returned to the sex aisle. How to master the real decision makers is cock and balls. Looked like a very good buy. Probably the prime manual for Victoria's Secret models, but so what, Bree mused. Minutes later, signaled by the tinging of the bookstore's bell, the door shut behind her. $2 bought, Bree was pleased. Between white pillow cushions left and right, the Book of Five Rings fit snug into her black bra. She sighed and smiled. People walked up and down the Dover white-colored sidewalks, happy people, or so it seemed. On Bree's left, a small lavender poster tacked to the wall read, "Why are there no trees on campus?" A liberal feminist protest rally held at 2 p.m. She walked on. As she approached the political science building, a hot pink poster on a telephone pole read, "Neoliberalism Symposium on Why Each Blade of Grass is an Individual," chaired by Marjorie Hatcher, held at 3:30 p.m. in Unity Hall. Bree double-checked the date, yesterday. Unity's unity. Well, neoliberalism continues to fail. What was new? She kept walking, acutely now aware that, as if in some Western movie, as students scrambled for their classrooms, suddenly all the sidewalks cleared except for one man walking toward her as they approached the political science building. At least the corny Western pre-gunfight music did not play in the background. Bree shrugged her shoulders, when at once a surprised bookstore beau, still walking toward her, said, "Class canceled, professor pregnant," or some other female melody, flimsy excuse. They had the entire sidewalk to themselves, uncomfortably. Whatever sexual or romantic tension they enjoyed before immediately resumed frying. No excuses prevented them from chatting now. "I saw you in the men's gender section." "Hi, I'm Jet Bliss." "Don't tell anyone. I was forced to take this class. I'm in law enforcement." "I'm in women's studies." "Didn't they rename it gender studies to include us men too?" Bree replied, "They're trying to hide the classes from the female sex." "Wait, you mean you don't want to study about men?" "Men's only problem is women." "That's because men cause men and women problems." "That's exactly why I want to work in law enforcement." Bree was confused, but men did that. Confuse women before asking them out on a date. She knew it was coming, and she'd have to friend zone him, because rule 2 was never make a date with a guy when he confuses you with drink, conversation, a joke, or his package. Her blue eyes drifted downward briefly. She hoped he didn't notice. They were the same height, and kissing would be a snap in and click for them. He was already in a wooden condition. "You're smart for a feminist. Double talk. I mean it, you're not politically stupid like a lot of feminists." He had a boyish appeal every girl loved at first. "If you can be an alpha male, I can be a Zeta female." "Zeta female?" "Zeta females get the last word, action, move in a relationship." He chuckled. "Men get the first move, but women get the last move." Bree grinned. "Only the last move matters. I used to be a pushover, letting men run me over. I ended up doing sex work." "Wow. Sex work. I never met a smart whore before. They're all around you." "I suspected as much." "Men all around you too seek out those sex-working females." "Touche. Ouch." He shook his head as if the conversation headed straight for a nearby green garbage can. "You don't look that old." "I started younger than I wanted to," Bree retorted, growing angry about a second. Another guy ran, leaped the few steps of the political science building, and stopped beside Jet. He wore a dull orange t-shirt. "Scraping at the bottom of the feeding bowl, I see, Jet." "She's not even your type, a sex worker." "But that's a nice sparkly 20s dress she's wearing." "Hey, Weston." Former Bree's confusion returned. She was not in a dress. Stupid Weston caused her to double-check her clothes for a second. Fucking gaslighting male whore. "Hey, Jet." The two men gently clashed their fists. Slow and gentle, Weston extended his balled fist toward Bree. "Do I know you?" Bree snapped, incredulously at his previous comment, an overly familiar gesture assuming their friendship. "See, Jet, stupid feminist." "If you did not know me, Bree, it'd be embarrassing." He turned to Jet. "Dude, she is reading that fairy tale book, How to Fly a Marshmallow Kite. That's how I knew she was a sex worker." Bree tucked the book deeper inside her straw shoulder bag. "What's the marshmallow book about, Bree? You wouldn't understand it. It's a feminist book. Feminists like it, but former sex workers carry it around in public with no shame." Weston, cut the name calling. "I'm telling you, dude, political radar is totally absent in all feminists. Once they decide to become women, separate themselves from us guys, to work on their own problems, man, disaster, boom." "Now that sounds like a fairy tale Western," commented Bree. "That was Jet's line, Bree." Weston tugged his dull orange shirt. "I thought better of you being in law enforcement and all. I'm doing okay. I just met Bree. Hey." Weston snatched Jet's purchased book. "Why Women Lie About Rape and Other Unreported Statistics." "Nice buy, Jet." Weston nodded his blonde, short, conservative head, approving of Jet's buy. "Required reading." "Should be. I tell you, feminists can't even stay calm in an argument. Also, they just have no sense of how evil this damn world is. Weston started to leave. Bullshit, Bree heard herself yelling, shouting. She regretted her actions immediately. He's only joking, Bree. It's a male thing to say provocative BS to people, especially to women. Bree's gut reacted, confusion. And not only from Weston, but also from Jet. Weston turned around. Bree, Gatsby loved that glittery, silvery little hot dress you got on. Nice and sweet. Bree exploded. What the fuck are you talking about, you sexist meatball spaghetti dick? Her long blonde ponytail whipped around over her shoulders, now hanging past her melon titties. Weston kept walking without turning back to acknowledge her. Jet stared baffled at Bree. He deserved it. Bree heard the blood rushing and hot in her veins. She fell into Weston's trap and reacted just as he predicted. On the other hand, she was no longer a pushover. Defending herself was her right. I'm sorry, Bree, I have to go. I'll see you in class, if I keep the class. Bree stood there suddenly alone, and to make matters worse, she knew Jet felt lonely too. However, Jet refused to acknowledge the missed opportunity between them, while she did acknowledge the energy percolating before. Why was she such a sap for Dick? Cocks were plentiful. She didn't need to fixate on one. Or was it her hidden woman nature driving her to sabotage herself in order to get pregnant and have a child? What child? Another alpha male jerk bastard bound in league to other alpha men who abuse, subvert, and harm future women and girls. Is that the child's dad she wanted to mate with? Being a lesbian was out of the question because she was heterosexual, and besides, that was a waif exit from the problem between male and females. She was a strong Zeta female. She stayed heterosexual, stayed in the fight for feminism. She made the Zeta move, but her victory tasted empty, like a cake full of cotton candy covered by a thin, baked outside layer of dough. Bree looked into her beige straw bag as she stood before the political science building. How to master the real decision makers, his cotton balls, and how to fly a marshmallow kite. As soon as possible, she had better finish reading them, and the palm-sized Book of Five Rings that she looked forward to reading immensely. The end.